Welcome back. It's a beautiful day to do this part 6 blank from Cloverdale. And what's this? They sent me a note. It says, "Dear Phantom, f*** you." No, just kidding. Actually, they're telling me to get a step drill bit for the drill holes. So I went out and got a set. Whenever someone gives me advice like this, I always take it immediately. They said to drill through the front with an 1/8 inch drill bit, and then from behind with a step bit. So we're going to try that out for the first time today. Never used one of these before, so being very careful. But basically, you just put a small amount of pressure on each step, and you get each size hole as you go along. Looks nice. It's easier to use than I thought it would be. I should have gotten one of these a long time ago. Looking good. See if we can see this from another angle here. Thank you so much to Cloverdale for finally giving me the push I needed to go out and get a set of these step drill bits. So moving right along, the step bits made it a very easy process to do the holes. I'm going to get straight into the eyes. A lot of this video is just going to be me doing the dremeling and cuts. So normally I skip over this kind of stuff, or I only show small parts of it. Today I wanted to be a little more thorough. When you're doing these eyes, you want to be really careful and not take too much off at a time, because if they get too big, can never get smaller. Do this very slowly. Now we're starting with the bullet hole, and the step bit is going to make this a lot easier, I think. Also, the bullet holes, we use our straight file. And with this file, I can get some cool details and cracks. And I want to put some more detail in with a knife. And only after all the vent holes are done do you do a cut like an axe cut. Very carefully and very slowly. And I always cut inside the lines when I'm doing an axe cut. Leave a very thin cut, and then I do the rest with sandpaper. Been kind of wet out, so I'm trying to speed up the process of the first inside coat of paint, which is white. You can see that in the grave scene in the film. We've got a pretty good day for painting. And this is ivory silk. I'm getting lucky today, and this stuff is going on very easily. And we're spraying this right over the existing primer. It's very close to almond color. And the wind started picking up. It started picking up so bad that I had to stop painting. But wind is what you want when you dry a mask. I used to think it was the sun and the heat, but the oxidization from the wind is what speeds up the process the most. And I finally figured out to just go with the direction of the wind, because I had to make some time on this part 5. So eventually, if you can't beat the wind, you just have to go with it. And of course, once I get them both sprayed, the wind stops. This is perfect drying conditions. So it's not quite 70. Nice sun. There is a lot of water, but it's all trapped in the ground. As long as the water's not in the air, you've got a good spraying day. Here we go, all ready for painting. And I made the chevron. I forgot to film it, but I figured I'd show you up close what it looks like. And I used a paintball scene reference for that. Here's our first color. Should be familiar with this by now. It's yellow ochre and medium gray. And we're going to tap this all over the mask. As always, we're not leaving any splotches or dark areas. Just want every inch of the mask to be yellowed. Of course, this first layer is the lightest color. And this layer is important because later layers or darker paints are actually going to stick to this and build up. But for now, you just want one layer, almost indiscriminately, across the entire surface. You see I'm just kind of dabbing it in. It might look like there's no paint on the sponge here, but it's just the smallest amount. And my sponge is very dry, and little pieces of it are sticking to the mask, so to get those off. And about now I notice the bullet hole is too small. So it's not too late at this stage to widen it a bit. I'm going to be painting over this area anyway. And honestly, it's never really too late, even if you have to widen the eye holes or vent holes. So now we're taking that same color, going around the edges of everything. Even the entire mask. We don't want a white edge that looks too new. And a very important step is to get every single vent hole darkened. Now I'm starting to spot certain areas with the brush. And this is also very subtle. But I'm using this to smooth out that whole coat. Looking pretty good outside, looking good in the shade. So my next step is to put some surface scratches in. And there are quite a few in this mask. They're all around the eyes, they're on the mouth, and some of them are done with the knife, and some are done with sandpaper. Just have to look at a really close-up picture. And as usual, I used a Mario Kerner mask to get an idea how to do this part. Just ever so slightly sanding. Now we're adding darker and darker paints to the bullet hole. Just going to smear this paint around under the nose. And our bullet hole is getting darker and darker, all the way to black. Don't want to go overboard here. You see, I did a little spatter. Now I'm just scraping some of that black paint away. Give it a nice white edge. Everything looks in order outside, but it could use a little life. So now I'm adding some stains here and there, some yellow spots. I did flick it with some muddy looking paint. Here I put some vermilion around the vent holes because there's going to be blood there later. I like to brighten that up. Don't want to go overboard with this mask. It's not that dirty. The mouth is pretty dirty. I added this detail on the nose. Very happy with this. You see a lot of the scratches here a lot better. There's a lot of them. But even those are kind of subtle and you can't see them at a distance. It's only when you get real close you see this stuff around the eyes. So I did make the straps, and I'm not going to go over it too much in detail in this video, because in the future I plan on making a strap video where I'm going to talk about leather straps and nylon straps and the ins and outs of them. But I did film it, and I wanted to include, to give you an idea what goes into it. It's not too hard. Basically assembling with these rivets. See some of the details around the edge. Love putting little chips in there. And those go all the way around the entire mask. At this point, I realize there's not much more I can do to it without it looking too dirty. And it just needs its clear coat before I can put the final blood spatter on. Of course, we're going to do some pop rivets, and the holes are too small. I like to do the cheek ones first, just to get in the swing of it. Pretty cool with these leather straps. Mask stands up on its own. Looking pretty consistent to my last one. And now that the satin clear coat is dried, I'm putting on the final touches of blood spatter. And not much. That's looking good. It's very subtle. And because I can never resist a final blood splatter, some on the inside of the mask. Very fun. Thanks for watching. I will be back soon with more mask videos.